everybody, this is Jesse Weber, and welcome back to Law and Crime Now. We have a full show for you today. We're going to be discussing the Breonna Taylor killing. We're going to revisit the Kody Lott trial. We're going to talk about the latest development in the Kobe Bryant crash. But right now, we want to update you about our continued coverage of the Ahmaud Arbery shooting out of Georgia. As you know, cell phone footage captured this killing on tape, and it led to the arrest of two men, Gregory and Travis McMichael. They've been charged with murder and aggravated assault. We have learned that both parties have now retained counsel. And in fact, today, Gregory McMichael's attorneys, Frank and Laura Hogue, held a press conference, and here's what they had to say earlier today. Take a look.
The truth will reveal that this is not just another act of violent racism. Greg McMichael did not commit murder. Greg McMichael is not a party to the crime of murder. This is not some sort of hate crime fueled by racism. It is and remains the case, however, that a young African-American man has lost his life to violence. That is tragic.
Joining me now to break it all down, what a panel I have. We have with us Benjamin Crump, who's one of the attorneys representing the Arbery family. Back again with us on Law and Crime is Judge Brandon Birmingham, as well as Law and Crime's own Terry Austin. It's great to have everybody here. Mr. Crump, thanks for coming back onto Law and Crime Now. I want to start with you. You heard the Gregory McMichael's attorney there. It should be noted that Travis McMichael is represented by Jason Sheffield and Robert Rubin. Collectively, they're all saying the truth needs to come out. Don't prejudge, and the facts will eventually make themselves known. What's your reaction to this?
Well, I wish that his client would have given Ahmaud Arbery the same presumption of innocence before they sought to profile him based on the color of his skin, chase him down, confront him, and kill him, as we saw on video. And the truth of the matter is, we're going to see if there are two justice systems in America, yet again, one for Black America and one for white America, because we know, all of us in our hearts know, if the roles were reversed and this was an African-American father and son who chased, pursued, and killed an unarmed young white man who was jogging, they would be convicted of murder and more than likely be facing the death penalty.
So it's going to be interesting to see which way this defense ultimately moves. And Judge, I want to move to you now. The Hogues has said that they're looking for a preliminary hearing, a bail hearing. How is that going to play out? Is it possible the McMichaels could be released pending trial?
Yes, it is always possible, in the exception of capital cases, that a person is entitled to bail. Bail has to be set not because a person has been convicted, but to assure their appearance back at trial. So it's, of course, possible that they could get a bail. I think probably what you're going to see is the bail is going to be high. It should be high to ensure that, given the gravity and the nature of the charges, that they do come back and face these charges.
Terry, how are these two different defense counsels going to be working together? How are they going to be operating together? So far, they've made a very consistent statement of clearly not guilty, but there's more truth out there. But how are they going to play out together?
Well, I think, Jesse, these two co-defendants are father and son. And so I think the attorneys are going to work very closely together. They're going to make sure they have their story straight. And frankly, I think they will defend each other because neither one of them wants the other to be convicted of either murder or aggravated assault. So I think they're going to work very closely together to try to get their clients off of these charges.
Talking about one of the defendants, Travis McMichael, this 911 audio was released, and he called 911 about 2 weeks before the Arbery shooting, saying that he observed someone at this construction site. And we know that this surveillance footage has been released. Multiple videos have come forward showing someone who could appear to be Arbery at this construction site. And this is important because you'll recall that the McMichaels said that they went after Arbery thinking he was a burglary suspect. So listen to this 911 phone call again, 2 weeks before the Arbery shooting. Take a look.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
It's Attila Drive, 230 Attila Drive.
What's going on?
We've had a string of burglaries. I was leaving the neighborhood, and I just caught a guy running into a house being built 2 houses down from me. When I turned around, he took off running into the house.
Okay. What did he look like?
It's a black male, red shirt, white shorts.
And you said the house was being built?
It's being built, yes ma'am. It's vacant right now. He is in the house.
Are you okay?
Yeah. It just startled me. When I turned around and saw him and backed up, he reached into his pocket and ran into the house. So I don't know if he's armed or not, but he looked like he was acting like he was. So, be mindful of that.
Okay.
I guess he doesn't realize we're here. He's got the damn lights on right now. He's got a flashlight looking through the house.
Does he? Okay.
He's trying to sneak behind a bush. He was coming through somebody's yard, and I looked back, and he was trying to sneak behind a bush. And when I drove on by, he got behind a portalet that they had here. And when I backed up, he looked at me. I went ahead and backed up to the road, and he reached in his pockets. I kind of watched him, and he ran off into the house, and then stepped back out and went back into the house, and that's when I called y'all.
Okay.
But we've been having a lot of burglaries and break-ins around here lately, and I had a pistol stolen January 1st, actually, and I've never seen this guy before in the neighborhood. And we've been kind of keeping an eye, and sure enough, there's one,
Right.
through the yards,
Mr. Crump, I want to turn to you on this 911 phone call. What is your response to this? Because you have to imagine that the McMichael's attorney can say, hey, well, listen, look at how he was behaving. My client was behaving. Weeks before the interaction with Arbery, he was fearful of burglaries. He called 911. This kind of shows his state of mind and why he went after Arbery that day. What's your response to that 911 phone call?
As I talked to my client, Marcus Arbery Sr. last night about these videos, he's not a lawyer. He's just a simple father whose heart is broken from losing his son, his youngest son. And he even concludes and gets it that this is simply racial profiling. As the Atlanta Journal-Constitution released today, video from the owner of that construction site, that it shows Ahmaud going in there, drinking water, stretching, and then taking back off on his jog. It also is interesting to note, Jesse, that there were white people who went into the house at night, and nobody assumed they were committing burglary. Nobody assumed they were doing something nefarious or up to no good. But yet when the young African-American does the exact same thing that white people have done at this construction site many times, nobody got a shotgun and chased them and shot and killed them. Nobody called 911 on them. And so I make of this, they're attempting to assassinate the character of Ahmaud Arbery now that they have assassinated his person to justify the unjustifiable.
And just to follow up, you had said on Twitter when you reposted these videos that it paints a clear picture of what happened leading up to the Arbery shooting. What is that picture?
The picture is that they profiled him because the color of his skin. When you look at everything that has happened at this construction site, the numerous people that the video surveillance caught going into that property, they didn't chase anybody else. And you see that Ahmaud went in there, was drinking water on his jog. There's no crime that he's committed that the owner, who has now come out on record and said he had no problem with anybody going in his property. Now, if that is to change, it would have to be a contradiction of what he has now stated on the record. But I think, and I know this case, and there's some things I can't say, there's a lot more that's going to come out to paint this picture that these people were not just innocently trying to get someone who they thought was burglarizing their community, burglarizing that property. We know that other people were going into that property and they never assumed they were committing burglary. And we also know the fact that they had encountered, based on Travis McMichael's 911 call now, African American who they assumed to be Ahmaud Arbery before. That's going to get a lot into their mentality.
Well, we're going to wait to hear what that information might be. Terry, I want to turn it over to you. Is there a way the defense can use these videos, or this 911 call? Because I guess the argument against the defense here is, well, you say it shows his state of mind, but on the day that they went after Arbery, or that they shot Arbery, they could have called 911 and waited for police. Travis McMichael, you did it 2 weeks ago. Why didn't you just call 911 once again? Do you think that in the end, this 911 phone call might end up hurting the defense more than helping the defense, Terry?
I do, Jesse, and here's the reason. He could have called 911 just like he did before, or he could have not used lethal force. There were so many other options beyond chasing down an innocent jogger, taking out your shotgun, standing in wait, having your father jump out of the van as well with a gun, although he didn't point the gun. And then there's another car following the van. I'm assuming that the jogger, that Ahmaud Arbery, probably thought he was going to get killed that day. I don't know what the evidence is going to show, but the fact that these people are tracking him down is in his mind, and he's trying to save his life. And yes, they could have called 911. There's so many other things they could have done instead of taking the life of an innocent man.
There's really so much to break down in this case, and evidence keeps coming out every single day, or new information seems to be coming out every single day. And here on Law and Crime, we're going to break it down all for you. When we come back, we have more to discuss about the videos that were released, possible defenses, and then also, it should be noted, we're going to ask the judge, how is this trial going to play out, especially given the fact that we are in a pandemic? And a little bit later on, when we come back from a break, we're going to focus on the Breonna Taylor case as well. So stay tuned here on Law and Crime Now. We'll be right back right after this.